Sri Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 15, Naradiya Kirtan Paddhati, Mr. Cholker's Sugarless Tea, Two Lizards. The readers may remember that mention was made in the sixth chapter regarding the Ramanavami festival in Shirdi. How the festival originated and how in the early years there was a great difficulty in getting a good Haridas for performing Kirtan on the occasion, and how Baba permanently entrusted this function to Das Ganu permanently. Now, in this chapter, we shall describe the manner in which Ganu was performing the Kirtan. Naradiya Kirtan Paddhati. Generally, our Haridasas, while performing the Kirtan, wear a gala and full dress. They put on a headdress, either a feta or a turban, a long flowing coat with a shirt inside, and uparani on the shoulders, and the usual long dhotar from the waist below. Dressed in this fashion for some kirtan in the Shirdi village, Das Ganu once went to Baba. Baba asked him, "Well, bridegroom, where are you going dressed so beautifully like this?" "For performing a kirtan," was the reply. Then Baba said, "Why do you want all this paraphernalia, coat, uparani, and feta? Doff all that before me. Why wear them on the body?" Daskanu immediately took them off and placed them at Baba's feet. From that time, Daskanu never wore these things performing the kirtan. He was always bare from waist upwards. A pair of chiplis was in his hand and a garland round his neck. This is not in consonance with the practice generally followed by all Haridasas, but this is the best and the purest method. The sage Narada, from whom the Kirtan Paddhati originated, wore nothing on his trunk and head. He carried veena in his hands and wandered from place to place, everywhere singing the glory of the Lord. Mr. Cholker's Sugarless Tea. Initially, Baba was known in Pune and Ahmednagar districts, but Nana Sahib Chandorkar by his personal talks and by Das Ganu by his splendid kirtans spread the fame of Baba in the Konkan region. In fact, it was Das Ganu, may God bless him, who by his beautiful and inimitable kirtans made Baba available to so many people there. The audience who come to hear the kirtans have different tastes. Some like the erudition of the Haridas, some his gestures, some his singing, some his wit and humor, some his preliminary dissertation on Vedanta, and some others main stories and so on. But among them, there are very few who, by hearing the Kirtan, get faith and devotion or love for God or saints. The effect of hearing Das Ganu's Kirtan on the minds of audience was, however, electric, as it were. We give an instance here. Das Ganu once was performing his Kirtan and singing the glory of Sai Baba in the Kaupineshwar temple in Thana. One Mr. Cholkar, a poor man serving as a candidate in the civil courts of Thana, was amongst the audience. He heard Das Ganu's Kirtan most attentively and was much moved. He then and there mentally bowed and vowed to Baba, saying, "Baba, I am a poor man, unable to support my family. If by your grace I pass the departmental examination and get a permanent post, I shall go to Shirdi, fall at your feet, and distribute sugar candy in your name." As good luck would have it, Mr. Cholkar did pass the examination and did get the permanent post, and now it remained for him to fulfill his vow, the sooner the better. Mr. Cholkar was a poor man with a large family to support, and he could not afford to pay for the expenses of a Shirdi trip. As is well said, one can easily cross over Nanhe Ghat in Thana district or even the Sahyadri range, but it is very difficult for a poor man to cross Umbar Ghat, that is the threshold of his house. As Mr. Cholkar was anxious to fulfill his vow as early as possible, he resolved to economize, cut down his expenses, and save money. He determined not to use sugar in his diet and began to take his tea without it. After he was able to save some money in this way, he came to Shirdi, took Baba's darshan, fell at his feet, offered a coconut, distributed it with a clean conscience along with sugar candy as per his vow, and said to Baba that he was much pleased with his darshan and that his desires were fulfilled that day. Mr. Cholkar was in the masjid with his host, Bapu Sahib Jog. When the host and the guest both got up and were about to leave the masjid, Baba spoke to Jog as follows: "Give him, your guest, cups of tea, fully saturated with sugar." Hearing these significant words, Mr. Cholkar was much moved. He was wonderstruck. His eyes were bedewed with tears, and he fell at Baba's feet again. Mr. Jog was also curious about this direction regarding the teacups to be given to his guest. Baba wanted by his to create faith and devotion in Cholkar's mind. He hinted, as it were, that he got the sugar candy as per his vow, and that he knew full well his secret determination not to use sugar in his diet. Baba meant to say, "If you spread your palms before me, I am immediately with you, day and night. Though I am here bodily, still I know what you do beyond the seven seas. Go wherever you will. Over the wide world, I am with you. My abode is in your heart, I am within you. Always worship me, who is seated in your heart as well as in the hearts of all beings. Blessed and fortunate indeed is he who knows me thus." What a beautiful and important lesson was thus imparted by Baba to Mr. Cholkar. Two lizards. Now we close this chapter with a story of two little lizards. Once Baba was sitting in the masjid. A devotee sat in front of him when a lizard ticked. Out of curiosity, the devotee asked Baba whether this tick-ticking of the lizard signified anything. Was it a good sign or a bad omen? Baba said that the lizard was overjoyed as her sister from Aurangabad was coming to see her. The devotee sat silent, not making out the meaning of Baba's words. Immediately, a gentleman from Aurangabad came on horseback to see Baba. He wanted to proceed further, but his horse would not go as it was hungry and wanted grams. He took out a bag from his shoulders to bring grams and dashed it into dirt. A lizard came out therefrom and, in the presence of all, climbed up the wall. Baba asked the questioner devotee to mark her well. She at once went strutting to her sister. Both sisters met each other after a long time, kissed and embraced each other, whirled round and danced with love. Where is Shirdi and where is Aurangabad? How should the man on the horseback came there from Aurangabad with the lizard? And how should Baba make the prophecy of the meeting of these two sisters? All this is really very wonderful and proves the omniscience, the all-knowing nature of Baba. Postscript. He who respectfully reads this chapter or studies it daily will get all his miseries removed by the grace of the Sadguru Sai Baba. Hence, bow to Sri Sai.